This week on Supercars Talk, in what would have been unthinkable 12 months ago, Craig Lowndes is on the move to Team 18. The big news this week is that there will be no lucky dog at the Bend. The rule will still be in place for Bathurst for some reason, but for those, I forget what it's actually called, but it comes from a NASCAR thing, I think, where they call it the lucky dog rule, where if you're a lap down when the safety car comes out, they let you overtake the safety car and catch your lap back up to keep more people in the race. Well, not in the race, but in the fight for the race. Formula One does a similar thing as well. It's a real tough one. I like that it does spice up the show, and then we get, there's 20 cars finishing on the lead lap at Bathurst, but it also then takes away a bit of that jeopardy, and you used to have things like people would stay out in safety car periods and not pit, so that they would then, they'd be ahead of the leader then, because the leader had come into the pits, and then they'd kind of get their lap back and they could fight their way back into the race, where now it's just kind of given back to people. And you do get some situations where someone might have a mishap earlier on in the day and they just kind of go, oh, well, we're going to get our lap back when the safety car comes out, unless it's like last year where there's only one safety car period and you don't just automatically get your laps back. But then also no one had issues to lose their laps last year, and because there was no safety cars. But for some reason we're not doing it at the Bend, but partially at the Bend because it's such a long lap. Wait a second, Bathurst is a long lap as well. It's something to do with Bathurst. There is a logical place where you let them go coming out of Forest Elbow, and the cars have got all the way down Conrod where they can blast away quite safely and get, kind of a bit of a lead before the rest of the pack comes through. Whereas at the Bend, it's been deemed it's a little bit harder. There had been issues doing it at Sandown in previous years for the 500. I'd prefer... If it was me, I'd prefer not to see it, and we go back to a bit more of a pure thing, a bit like any driver can start the race. But it's a step in the right direction, at least getting rid of it for one of the endurance races. For those of you who have been worried that the Friday night race at Adelaide will be a bit of a fizzer, fear not. There will be a $50,000 prize given to your driver of choice from 888 who will win the race, and they will have to put it into the kitty for their Christmas party. Anyway, there's probably should have written notes. There's someone who's sponsoring this. Apologies to the sponsor for not taking note of who you are. On sponsor things as well, Ryco will be sponsoring an Enduro Cup again this year for the winners or whoever does the best across the two endurance races. It's good to see that back. Come on, next year, 3 races and make it a proper kind of Enduro Cup to go and win. But anyway, there will be $50,000 for the winner of the Friday night race at Adelaide. It's good. It will add a bit of, especially if guys who aren't in the championship fight are kind of running, first and second, or you got someone in the championship fight running first and someone who's not, it gives them a real good incentive to get involved and, have a bit of a crack in that. I do joke, though, it will probably go to Brock Feeney to add to the kitty for the 888 Christmas party, though, because they're just going on and winning everything right now. Now, the actual big news this week, and I don't think a lot of people have done this one justice. This is it's big. And of course, we knew it was coming. We knew Craig Lowndes was leaving 888 because they were going to Mustangs, and he has signed a deal with Chevrolet, and he would be going to a Chevy team for next year. But it has been confirmed that it will be Chev homologation team Team 18 that will be taking on the I nearly said the 888 wildcard that will be taking on that. Craig Lowndes and Supercheap Auto will continue to back that wildcard. They haven't decided who is going to be the second driver. Those with the biggest budget applying now. I joke on that, but yeah, you've had to have brought a budget with it with Triple Eight. I'm not sure if that is going to be the same deal with Team 18. I will insert a joke now about when Supercheap told Charlie the figure to run the 3 races during the year. He fell over and said, "You can have both cars for the whole year for that figure." As is probably the difference that Triple Eight has been asking to run that wildcard from Supercheap, and probably the budget that the main sponsors on Charlie's cars are bringing. Anyway, it is actually really big that, Supercheap are continuing with it. It is going to Team 18. They will be having a young gun in the car again. It will be the 2 endurance races with Craig and the young gun will get a solo round by themselves next year. Of course, we haven't seen the calendar yet, so no confirmation where that solo round will be. But yeah, it's really, really big news. I'm predicting that it will be whoever out of kind of that Tickford fold from Super 2 who doesn't get a main game seat next year. So probably your Roland Gray and your Lockie Dalton. They're probably at the top of my list to get that, or maybe Jackson Walls or Gumasol. I think they're my predictions who's going to end up in that car. I assume it's going to be bring along a sizable budget, and you get that run. Probably not as exciting to get that one as what it has been over the last couple of years with Triple Eight, because as we saw the other weekend, my God, it made Zach Bates look like an absolute hero getting into the top 10 as a wild card. How much of it's the car? How much of it is the driver? But yeah, really, really big news. I'm really excited that this is continuing. It just adds a bit of a spice to the endurance races, and it's great to see, some young guns get a shot. Now, also, speaking of the silly season, it's looking more and more likely that Jack LeBrock will be returning home to Matt Stone Racing, with Cam Hill moving to Albury. Part of me was hoping that Cam Hill would be staying with MSR. Obviously, I really like the Hills. I really like MSR. It's quite good to keep them together. But, the LeBrocks are great people as well. And, I really like Jack as well. So it's not too bad waving goodbye to the Hills if, that's who they're getting, in return for it. It's still a lot of moving pieces in the silly season there. Rylan Gray is one of the guys who's come out and complained about all these, the current drivers just moving around teams and no one's leaving to open up opportunities for us young guys. Funnily enough, he's probably the guy who, he's at the front of the queue everywhere to get in. I still think he's probably going to end up in that Blanchard car replacing James Courtney. But we'll see what happens. He's also said he's not wedded to Ford. He is shopping his budget around. He's more than happy to move into a Chev or even a Toyota if that's the best place for his budget to go. Now, the other week, I had a question from one of my long-term viewers, Andream. I've been keeping this one for a bit of a quieter video because I thought it was a good question. And it's one of those ones that kind of gets you thinking, because you expect everyone knows about it, and then you kind of think to yourself and you're like, how much do I actually know about this? Anyway, as she says, I should probably know this, but have WAU had a wild card this year, and who decides when and where, etc.? No, of course, WAU haven't had a wild card this year. There was hope that they would run one for their Super 2 guys. I think a lot of that got put on hold with the whole Toyota thing. I do expect, maybe not next year, but from, say, 2027, when they've got the Toyota thing up and running, that we will see a bit more from them, and potentially, some international Toyota people coming in. Maybe we'll see Toyota NASCAR guys, or who knows with that. But yeah, I do expect WAU to definitely get back on that wildcard board once everything settles down with the Toyota deal. Who decides when and where, etc. So it's a bit of a murky process. So with the Matt Charter one, they said they didn't have the application in. I think it was a date in February that they didn't have the application in for Bathurst, and so that was one of the reasons why they got rejected this year, because they didn't have the application in time for Bathurst. But from what I understand, with the Cam Crick wildcard, they put their application in at the start of the year, etc. They went and did Sydney. They're going and doing, the 2 endurance rounds. They also didn't know who the co-driver was at the time. That then came out to be Aaron Seaton, which is all cool. But they also then, when they found out about Tickford doing, a wild card each for their 2, Lockie Dalton and Ryland Gray, they said, hey, well, can we do a second wild card? And from what I understand, at first it was like, yep, cool, the co-driver can do one. And then when the co-driver thing hadn't quite happened, but yeah, Cam Crick then applied to, do a second one, which was all decided quite late on in the piece. Maybe the whole, when you apply for it, maybe it depends who you are and when you're applying and things like that. Now, also, there is certain rounds that are designated as wildcard rounds. So this year, I think we've had SMP, Darwin, Queensland. I think there might have been another one. Wanneroo was the other one. So they're rounds that you can have wildcards at. Some of the ones like Townsville, Adelaide, obviously Bathurst and the Bend are allowed. I don't think Sandown is one this year. But then if you have a very significant one, like say you're, coming in with a NASCAR driver, or if you had even an IndyCar driver or a Formula One driver, something like that, like a really, really big name, Marcus Ambrose, like if Shane Van Gisbergen or Scott McLaughlin wanted to come back and do Adelaide, no problem, you can come and do that. Even, there was talk that, I can't remember, it was one of the NASCAR guys, was going to come and do with Triple Eight, do a wild card at Adelaide this year, which they'd already exhausted their wild cards with, Tickford actually is now talking they're going to run one of the Ford guys potentially at Adelaide, and you're like, well, they've already more than exhausted the single round and the 2 enduros that was where it was supposed to be, and then all of a sudden, so I suppose that's a long way of saying that it's very, very murky on what you can do. There is a set of rules that say you can only run a wild card here, etc., but then you can apply for dispensation if it is something really special. And if it's, say, a NASCAR driver coming in that's going to, garner a lot of interest, especially around the world and things like that, they're going to say, yep, all cool, you can do that. So I hope that confuses you even more, because I probably haven't really made it any clearer. Now, over the next few weeks, the video schedule, fingers crossed, it all stays the same, but I do have to go to Queensland for a few days for work, which is going to throw things out. I am taking the opportunity while I am up there to have a couple of days of rest and relaxation. And rest and relaxation, how you say, I'm going to go to visit sponsors Motorfocus and Pit Lane Partners and do a bit of filming with them. Yes, my relaxation is doing Supercars Talk videos. I'm going to hopefully spend a bit of time with them and do a bit of filming. See their operations a bit better, and get interviews with the people behind the products that are supporting me. Also with Pit Lane Partners, I'm part of with catching up with them. I probably haven't been explaining what they do perfectly, but I quote, the easiest way to explain Pit Lane Partners is, if your company wants to sponsor a supercars team or categories of TA2, Trans Am, etc., contact Pit Lane Partners. They're not looking for, drivers to sponsor. They're more looking to, if you're a company who has a budget, doesn't know how to get there or where best to place a budget, or, how much, say I've got X amount of dollars, what can I actually get for that money? Like, where's the best place? That's what they're trying to do, like hook up partners with teams things like that. They're not out there trying to find sponsorship for drivers. They're more trying to find, partners for the teams. I hope that explains everything. Anyway, down in the comments, let me know who you think will be teaming up with Craig Lowndes at Team 18 next year. As I said, I had 4 guesses. I think Rylan Gray is probably out. And I think Lockie Dalton will probably try to do wildcard again with Tickford. So I reckon it's probably going to be one of those boys in the Triple 8 wildcards at the moment. I reckon one of those two is my prediction at the moment. But like the silly season stuff, watch me be completely wrong. And someone totally left of field, well, maybe not left of field, but someone else that hasn't got a budget come along next week and be announced as the co-driver for next year. Anyway, until next time, I'm still Dave, and I'll catch you later.